Thanks for being here, Gemini. You are watching All Astrology. So the first event is a release, it's a completion, it's an ending, it's Leo energy. Yeah, we have a full moon in the sign of Leo. And Leo energy, once you understand what Leo energy is, then you have an understanding as to what it is that you're completing. So right off the bat, when we think of the sign of Leo, creating, literally creating, very creative people. Typically, performances. They are performers. They can sometimes be a little dramatic, right? They are very courageous, which is what makes them usually fascinating performers and awesome performers, because you see them, you see their light, you see almost like the light itself, the sun itself flowing from them, right? They're really powerful, really colorful in the way that they express. So, however they choose to express. So, for some folks, if talking isn't their thing, they go to the canvas. They're using paints or pencil or charcoals or ink or whatever it is, right? Some people do crafting. Okay. Leo is going to be something that's going to be doing it in a big way. It's going to be doing it in colors, and it's doing it that way because it is about standing out from the crowd. Like, this is you shining, and this is what's unique about you. So it could simply be your laugh, comedy, laughter. Leos usually lots of humor, great sense of humor, a great job at cracking jokes, kind of like maybe being the class clown, but really trying to just use humor to make others laugh because it makes them feel good, right? There's something soothing about it. It's Leo energy. It's come on, baby, light my fire. It shines and it radiates, and it's courageous. What are some other keywords for Leo? Children, literally your physical babies, and whatever you've created is your child. Okay. So whether you could be a cook, you could be a composer, you could be a screenwriter, you could be someone who knits clothing, who makes clothes for kids, you do sewing, whatever your creation is. You could be in the kitchen making stuff. Whatever your creation is, that is like a part of you. It's something that came from you. It doesn't have to always come from us physically to be considered our children. How many of us consider our pets our children? Leo, the cat, the lion. Think of hair. Think of hair. Think of costumes. Think of accessories, the sign of Leo, because it's how you're going to stand out. So how you wear your clothing, Leo energy, how you radiate, that thing you do that makes you, you is Leo energy. Okay. It's a fire sign, very fiery. Sometimes with Leo energy, you get too close, you can get burned. So for people with a lot of strong Leo, they got to kind of keep that in mind. You think of the sun. It's a really good thing. We would die without it. We need it to survive. It makes things grow. But if you leave some stuff out in the sun and it doesn't get water, or it's out in the sun for too long, some plants can't handle that, right? They die. They get burnt up. So it's a powerful thing. And so we just need to be aware of how we use our Leo energy. So for Gemini, how do you use your Leo energy, right? Let's find out. Let's see what house number it's in for you, right? For Gemini, third house is where your Leo energy is at. Now, third house is how I communicate. It's how I talk. It's how I think. When we think of learning, this is that. Your third house is you learning. So if Leo is there, there's something about that Leo energy where it's going to be, let's be honest, the fire signs in general, there's like this self thing, like it's about me. So Aries is the first fire sign, very much like a child. Leo's a little bit older, right? A little bit more mature than Aries, but it's still learning how to relate, how to play nice with others, right? You might have to share your toy, right? It's not just always about you, right? And so the Leo energy is learning that. So play is a big one. Play and laughter, having a good time. But learning, because it's in your third house, going to school. You have children here, Leo here. So you could be one who is into teaching children. Yeah, you might be good at teaching children. There may be things about the way that you talk and you communicate and you radiate that children gravitate towards you, or other Leo energy. This is the way you're thinking. So typically having Leo in the third, the mind, how I think, very optimistic. Leo is very optimistic, very courageous, not afraid to go out there. Leo energy, when we think about that house placement, number 3, coworkers, siblings. What about romance? Leo is my romantic endeavors. It's like I want to take a risk with my body and I want to have fun with my body. So some go out and they do sports. Some, well, they can do physical things, but it doesn't have to necessarily be outside. They may do a one-on-one thing with others, right? So we're talking about like dating, relating, mating, like that whole thing. Yeah, Leo energy. Having a good time, flirting, right? Just having fun, but it can get more serious where we're having children, possibly taking a risk, right? Having children. Leo energy, 3rd house. So there's like flirtation and talking, but it's digital. It's social media. It's being the reporter or whatever, right? However you want to look at that, whether you're a reporter or a commentator, but it's sharing information. It's my thoughts, how I share my thoughts, how I think, how I relate and communicate. If it's Leo, you do it in a very colorful way. And there's something in the way that you speak, also the way that you think, but in the way that you literally speak that is unique. There's something about it. People may literally be able to read your communications, whether it's a text message or email or something you've written, and there's something unique about that where they're like, oh, I can tell such and such wrote this. There's something unique there. All right. Now, this is a completion because it's a full moon. So this could be a creative endeavor you're completing. This could simply be maybe you were writing a book. 3rd house is writing, literally. It's the scribe. That's the 3rd house. Someone who keeps track and who is, keeping track of the information and the data, and then they are turning around and sharing it, putting it out there. So yes, all the social platforms, you're going to love things that are likely quick and fiery because you have fire, Leo, in your 3rd house. And the 3rd house is Gemini energy. You know all about that. It's air. So when you mix fire and air together, it's really like what happens to fire when it comes into contact with air. Whoosh, the fire grows and it's you're adding a burst of speed to it, kind of like, I don't want to say rocket fuel, but yeah, like we're taking off, right? So a release, a completion, an ending, and a closure to a creative endeavor. It could be a course. Maybe you were taking a course online. Maybe you were teaching a course online. Is at the end of the semester. But the promise with this full moon, is that this ending will open multiple doors. How can I possibly say that? I'm going to show you why. Okay. You're on the screen. I'm going to pop up this chart, right? And if you see this chart, you see where the full moon is at. It's at 16 degrees and 40 minutes. So literally we could say a 17-degree full moon. Okay. Now with a 17-degree full moon, it's the moon energy, right? And so moon typically is emotions and family and mom and nurturing. Like those are just all the moon keywords that you have to take into consideration. You want to fold those meanings into everything I just talked about with Leo. Yeah, it's the combination factor. So the moon being mom, the moon, but the sun, what is ruling Leo energy is the sun, the planet. Or I'm sorry, the luminary, the sun rules the sign of Leo. The sun is masculine, typically male energy. Masculine energy. So it could be like father figures or even boss figures or somebody in your life that's an authority figure. But because it's a full moon in Leo, in essence, it's like we've got the sun and the moon together. So it's a very interesting full moon. Very interesting because it will bring that ability. It has new moon flavorings to it. It has new moon flavorings because a new moon is when the sun and the moon are together. So here we have the mother and the father. And what happens? They have the ability to make a baby, a creation of some sort. Communications, keeping track of information, thinking, conversations, duality, changing my mind, maybe unconscious judgments, talking out of both sides. Like, okay, I think it's like this. And then 1 minute I seem contradictory because I'm saying this, right? So there's a whole lot of things this can be. So people, I'll go over people one more times. I started talking about siblings, coworkers, neighbors, peers, classmates, like when you're out in the market, merchants, right? People who are literally selling you something. This could be like mailmen, people who are delivering the mail, literally delivering information, the mail workers. And we think of networking, and business and salespeople, like white collar jobs. Think of white collar jobs. They're usually folks who can talk, people who can speak, right? They were born with the gift. Okay. Yeah. They're not special. They were just born with that gift. And the way our world functions, those people make the big money. Gemini energy, third house. Now, completion and closure and ending. Let's pull a card. I have been shuffling these puppies up for you to get a beautiful card. And remember, this is going to hold the energy of a door closing, but yet multiple doors and possibly some windows opening somewhere else for you. Okay, Gemini? And bam, there it is. Can you see that card? It says be spontaneous. Be spontaneous. Have fun. Have a good time. Sometimes making plans is just the perfect thing to do. But you know what? Balance. Balance is a big deal, right? Being spontaneous. Here's the thing too. We've got a like a nature nymph or fairies in this picture, right? Whatever you want to call them, whatever the little winged beings are. And we've got the moon, right? It looks like a harvest moon even. Some could say it looks like the sun, but if you look at the picture, it does kind of look like nighttime. So harvest moon, harvesting, we can't harvest before it's time to harvest, but definitely family involved here. And the card itself showing like these two figures. One seems to be younger than the other one likely an adult, has the antennas, right? So the antennas on it. So it has the knowledge, the thought, the thinking process. It's a little bit wiser, right? And the other one doesn't have the antennas. And so it's saying be spontaneous, showing affection, nurturing one another, be spontaneous and having fun and having a good time. But because this is a release, there may be a little one that you're no longer teaching. There may be a little one in your life, and that little one could very well be you. Think about this, all the degrees of ourselves. We have 360 degrees. And so when we think of all the degrees of who we are, sometimes we have to work with ourselves. Sometimes we have to be the parent to ourselves. And when we see this image, it shows it's never like too late or it's never too soon. And we're never supposed to just walk away. We're always parenting ourselves. And so even if you have a little one in your life that you're sending off to school for the first time, or that you're, for whatever reason, maybe they're trying to be a little bit more independent, there's something here about the spontaneity to help things stay lively and to create a balance, So this Leo full moon of release, we have this picture. It sure does look like a family thing, and it's a closure and an ending. And so the spontaneity on this card, are you going to be losing some spontaneity? Is the spontaneity, is there more of a system happening? Are you tied down because you've got a schedule and you've got to go to work? Either way, this card is to say that there is some spontaneous activities or something with the little ones that you may not be doing or that you're doing less of. But remember, where one door closes, multiple doors open. The next thing for you, Gemini, is the new moon. We have a new beginning, right? We have a new beginning. It is in the sign of Pisces energy. Yeah, we have a new moon in Pisces. What do you think about that? Now, this is a theme for 2023. Keep this in mind, all right? Where these new moon beginnings are, the one in January was near 0 degrees. It was like at 1 something, right? The one in February is also near 0 degrees. It's at 122 in Pisces. So that makes the beginnings big. It makes them important because they're near the 0 degree point. All right. It truly is like a new beginning in some endeavor, in some place, in some location of your life. So talking about the location, where is it for you? Okay, Gemini, the location is going to be in your house of work. This is your 10th house, your career, your goals, your ambitions. This is where you're like boss energy. So I need for you to check the degrees because I know there's a lot of you out there where you have house cusp lines or you have houses where you have multiple signs in a house, right? If you don't know and you need help, if you want to know, just comment to me below. I will take care of that for you. We will check it out together and I'll figure it out. When you have a new moon in that 10th house. This is a new beginning with the job, a new beginning with your ambitions and your goal, with your career energy. Now, Pisces is really creative energy. All right. Pisces is like the one who sacrifices. It can also have a lot of similarities with Leo energy. That's why this is really fascinating because remember the Leo full moon, a lot of things ending, but yet we're having a new moon in Pisces, and Pisces and Leo, performers. Pisces. Pisces is known to be politicians, people who are on the stage and screen. Sometimes they're hidden, but it's because they have a costume on, but they can still be on the stage. These are people who are musicians, people who write music, poets, poetry, writing poetry, stage and screen, and music and sound is Pisces energy, right? Pisces. So it's very creative energy, just like Leo energy, very creative. Pisces can be a bit of a mystery. It's not fixed like the Leo energy. Leo is very fixed. Pisces is watery, empathic, highly sensitive. It can feel things. It understands. It sees the underlying unity. That's Pisces energy. And it has the ability to see the big picture, right? It has the ability to forgive, right? To just because it's got that understanding capability, it can forgive. So think about what you do for work, right? Think about what your vocation is, right? That vocation is that thing you do, whether you get paid to do it or not. It's something that you're drawn to, but at the same time, it's your duty. Your soul tells you, this is your duty, man. Like you got to do this. And even if you can't make money off of it, you need to be doing this. You need to be engaging in this. So you may find that you call this your hobby. Yeah, because it's something we're very much drawn to. And we do it and we're just like, oh, but I'm not that good at it, But then for some reason, we're constantly working at it. Now, Pisces energy back in the day, this is like soul history. So it's a bit mysterious. It's kind of like the hidden and 5D energy. Right. So we associate it with like hospitals and sleep and needing to recover. So people who work in hospitals, possibly Pisces in the 10th house, doctors, Pisces in the 10th house, even like nursing homes or some, old astrologers used to say like prisons, jails, because people are behind bars. And even if you were a patient in a hospital, you can't go somewhere, right? You're kind of restricted and limited in some way. You are invisible. You're behind bars or you're in that building, right? So Pisces is associated with all that. Like, so there's a lot of meanings. What about people of the cloth? People who, yeah, so like different religions, right? So there's the clergy, different clergy, reverends, bishops, priests, nuns, right? Brothers, monks, yeah, Buddha and the monks. Like there's just different people of spiritual, religious, spiritual cloths, right? Um, they're kind of hidden. You don't normally see them out and about everywhere. They supposedly spend a lot of time in prayer and meditation. And I'm not trying to be funny or sarcastic when I said supposedly. I'm just saying, some are very, very public, and so, yeah, but think of like if any of you have ever read the Bible, Jesus, Jesus absolutely spent a lot of time with the people. But let's be sure and let's be clear. It was also written that Jesus spent like 33 years where nobody really has much information about him, where it's kind of esoteric, it's kind of hidden, right? It's kind of mysterious. We don't know what Jesus did for those first 33 years. So there's that mixture of why I think this sign can be so complicated and so difficult to understand. I get a lot of people who ask questions about the Pisces energy and understanding it. And so it's understandably confusing because it's supposed to be confusing. And what I mean by that is Pisces blurs details. Pisces can make the 3D reality disappear. Now you see it. Now you don't. Pisces can make it disappear. Yeah. See the pen? And then it's gone. That's Pisces, right? Now you see me, no, you don't. It just comes in, it just comes out. So it can do that to our physical bodies. It can make us feel run down. It can make us tired. It can make us sleepy because Pisces, Neptune is sleep. Now, this is a new beginning in your career. This is a new beginning with your vocation. This is a new beginning in that thing that you do that you feel that you are an authority figure in some way. And you might even be confused by it because it's Pisces in the 10th. Think of pointillism, pointillism, because it's like a ton of dots, but if you get up close to it, the definition is gone. You don't see the details. It's like you got to go way far back to actually see the big picture because you can't just look at one thing in pointillism, right? So let's pull you a card for your new beginning, and let's have this card give Gemini clarity on what this new beginning will be. To maintain your childlike spirit. Look at that. How fun, how colorful, how beautiful. This looks like pure joy, right? Like, I'm so carefree. I don't have a care in the world. Something about the childlike spirit is very important here. So maybe in that Piscean energy, it's telling you for that new beginning to be a little bit more playful, to be a little bit more playful. Find something that makes you happy, that gives you your happy place. That's a big deal with the childlike spirit. It's what did we do when we were young to play? How did we play? What games did we play? And then maybe you're still figuring that out. That's a very good possibility. What makes you smile? And what do you consider your happy place? And how can you be in your happy place and make money, right? Like that's that's the secret, right? So your number, we have 27 on the card. This is this is this is like telling me that you're really good at this. Your numerology on this card is saying that this is something that you have a lot of experience with already. You're really good at this, they're saying. So whether that's working with children, something that's creative, something that you feel like a kid, something where you're joyful, it might even be because this is obviously swinging, but you have to figure out for yourself what that is for you. Not everybody's, all thrilled about getting on the swing, but the point is in the card, this person is very carefree as well. Maintain the carefreeness, the carefree spirit, the childlike spirit, which is being open. Children can be a little naive sometimes, right? They're not scared. And that's kind of what this person's or this being, this winged being is doing, saying just have fun, lay back, relax, have a little bit of fun. And maybe that's also what they're saying to do because it's Pisces, and Pisces is about respite, about relax and sleeping and dreaming. So maybe having some more fun, carving out time for fun should be one of the new goals. Possibly. Happy 2023. Happy February 2023, Gemini. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.